Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We went to movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained best pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the favorite bit by bit. Sweetie and Sweetie are here to say it's the Large Marge Santa's podcast. Hey.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast, your favorite podcast where two sweetie sisters talk about movies in quarantine. I'm Sweetie with an IE.
And I'm Sweetie with a Y. Hey, we're still here.
Hope you guys are
Stuck
doing
in our
well. You know, day, what is this, 6 of quarantine, social distancing?
Who knows?
How much you want to bet that social distancing becomes the, you know, every year they add a couple words to the Oxford English
I said
Dictionary.
That today. I was like, it's going to be that, obviously.
Oh, yep, totally. So we're hanging in there, guys, and we hope you are too. Everyone's looking for podcasts, more podcasts, and since we're home now, so much more with a lot less to do, just like the rest of the world, we're definitely going to be hitting up with a lot of EPs.
Totes.
EPs for days.
Watching lots of movies, doing lots of episodes. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know how we're going to survive, you know? It's already pretty bleak, and we'll see what happens.
It's going to be weeks of this. So, we did last week a feel-good flick, You've Got Mail. We're continuing on that trend by doing another Disney classic. We've done a couple so far. We skipped over this one, which was interesting. And
why did we
I forget why. Now I remember.
I don't think we were going in order or anything.
We're not going in order, but it's just like what the mood suits us. But we did tonight. Beauty and the Beast. Tale as old as time. Song as old as rhyme. Beauty and the Beast.
It's not my favorite song. It's
1990.
We'll get there. But what? 1990?
1991. So Little Mermaid, 1989, and then it was like they came out with ones every 2 years, right? I think. Beauty and the Beast. I know we saw this in the movie theater, but I do not remember it.
I don't remember it
vividly as Little Mermaid or Aladdin.
Well, I guess because an event didn't happen. I don't think so. I was trying to remember, and I can't remember a time in my life when I didn't know this movie, but I can't remember ever watching when the first time we saw it was. I just remember it always being a part of my life. So I don't know.
I know. That's exactly what I thought when I was watching this. And Jimmy turned to me as I was singing every single word to every one of these songs and was like, how many times have you seen this movie? And I was like, 1 million, which is totally true. And also, so we had, obviously we had all these movies on and VHS, clearly. But what stands out to me even more was that we had the CDs of these soundtracks. We got them. I want to say we got them all together, but I don't think that's true because I feel like we didn't get Aladdin until Aladdin came out. But we definitely got Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid together, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, that would make sense because CDs were just kind of starting when those came out, right?
So and I think it was from that, the Columbia House, CD clubs that people were into, and it's totally something Dad had, and we had those. Remember, you would there'd be little stamps for all the CDs you would want, and you'd lick them and put them on the thing and send them back, and you get all these CDs. Anyway, so we had Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid, and we played the shit out of those. I remember finding them I don't know, probably when Mom moved out or something like that, and they were scratched up
so
badly.
Did they ever
but we played
work?
them 100 times.
Yeah, we treated those real.
I know.
Real
yeah. Real well.
Yeah.
But that's what and why I think we know these songs so well is because we had the CDs and we just played them over and over again, and we made basically our own live action, musicals of these, and we'll explain that story about this particular movie later.
It's a good one.
But yeah, Beauty and the Beast, second real big Disney smash, right? So we talked about when we did Little Mermaid that there was this big gap in between. They did a bunch of like the fairy tale ones, so Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, blah blah blah, and then there was like a big gap in, I would say, like 70s and 80s where they didn't really do any big fairy tale ones. And then Little Mermaid, huge, right? Like bonkers, started like this whole basically Disney princess and crazy thing. And then this was the second one, right? So like I said, we definitely saw it in the movie theater. I don't really remember it, but it was monumental for us. And it just continued the trend that Little Mermaid did of these like great cartoons with these really great female protagonists and these amazing songs that you like knew as soon as you came out of that theater. I mean, it was they're just the best songs ever, and I will like stand by that.
Yeah. Rewatching it today, obviously, I learned a lot of new things, but the biggest thing that stands out to me is that the songs are literally all the same. It's like little town, every single song is this song, just a little different. It's just, they're all the same. It's pretty funny. But yeah, this is such an interesting. I don't think I had seen this in a really long time. Like I didn't even see the stupid live action one with Emma Watson when that came out. So it had been like I don't know, 15 years since I've seen this. I don't know, like a long time. And I was just kind of overcome by the nostalgia and the like why I like loved it so much, and it just felt very cozy to me as a child. But then watching it today, you're like, oof, this is an abusive relationship here, and she has Stockholm syndrome. Like very different now.
But he was like a beast. I wouldn't say like the songs don't feel the same to me, but they feel very like musical. This feels at more than any of the Disney ones very Broadway to me. Just the way the songs are like configured, like the Belle song, which is like that on like a really good ensemble song, probably one of the best ones they've done. Where you have all those people in the village and singing all the different parts and stuff. Like the Kill the Beast one, same thing. The like duet that they have. I don't know. It just feels very musical to me. And the people that they got to be the main singers for these have very like Broadway belty voices too. And it very like fits into that whole thing. And so they did eventually make a Broadway musical of this. And you're like, oh my God, of course, like fit perfectly.
Did they have to change anything? No.
I don't think so. And I agree. Like I got totally swept up in like the nostalgia of this, especially the first two Belle songs, which like literally brought tears to my eyes. I was like obsessed with those songs. I know every single line of those. I mean, I haven't heard those songs in a couple years probably, and I knew like all of them. And like I said, like even the Little Town, It's a Quiet Village, that one is there's like tons of little parts to that one, is like all the villagers are saying stuff, and I knew like every single villager part. It was amazing.
I know, it's so good.
So it just like really brought me back, and how much I just love, like I think most girls just loved that Belle character for so many reasons. Like I said in my Instagram story, like she was one of the first since Snow White, like a brunette
she's just a regular person.
Woman. She's a regular person. She loves books. She's smart. And it's like, but like watching this, I'm like, okay, they thought she was odd because she liked to read. I mean, that is like some fucked up shit.
She had free thought and wasn't married. I mean, we'll get to it. There's problems here, guys. But wow, yeah, it really brought me back. I had a purple Beauty and the Beast lunchbox that I just like treasured so much. In kindergarten I was when I had that, and it's I remember like the way I had milk in my thermos, like the way it tasted in that. Everything about it, it's just so great.
You had the doll too.
Yeah, so I was thinking of that, and but it was the doll that only came in the fucking like blue peasant dress, and like, what? Why didn't I get the ball gown one that I loved?
Oh, it didn't come with the ball. Someone else had the ball gown then, because I like remember.
Probably Kim Kaplowitz, as usual, had that, and I had the
I feel like
one.
Still, other than the frozen blue dress that like all little girls have now. Belle is like still the one that all little girls like love and have, is that gold ball gown. Is just like,
I wouldn't
the
say
jam.
like all girls, but definitely a lot of
Most
them dream
out of all the princesses, I would say.
They're mostly brunettes though, let's be real. I've never seen a little blonde girl like be wearing a Beauty and the Beast dress. I haven't. I'm just gonna say it. I haven't.
I know. Yeah, she's awesome. I love that Belle. So yeah. What else about this film? Was nominated for an Academy Award. Crazy. So cool.
For Best Picture?
So it would have been the 1992 Academy Awards. Yep. Had not, a Disney movie had not been nominated since Mary Poppins. So that was like a real big thing for them. And if you remember, so the other films nominated at that time were Bugsy, JFK, Prince of Tides, and the winner, Silence of the Lambs. Okay. Silence of the Lambs, you deserve it.
If Silence of the Lambs wasn't in that, Beauty and the Beast totally would have won. Those other ones suck.
Yeah. I mean, I think it did win Best Animated Feature, I'm sure. So that was like the one it won. And then it won for Beauty and the Beast, the song. So very, very cool. The songwriting and music duo of Alan Menken and Howard Ashman. So those were the two who also did Beauty and the Beast. Little Mermaid. So they collaborated here again. And like I said, like songs so good. Sweetie says they all sound the same. I don't see it that way. But the lyrics are like bomb. They're really, really good.
They use the same song at least 3 or 4 times. It's like, I mean, most Disney movies do that, but I just noticed it a lot more like in this one. Because there's like 3 versions of the Gaston song, and then there's like 3 versions of the Belle song. And then they turn the crazy old Maurice song into the Gaston song. And it's like, whoa, my head hurts. But I mean, they're still all great songs. I love all these songs. I'm not crazy about Tales Old as Time, like I said, but whatever. It's Angela, so.
Yeah, I gotta go with Be Our Guest or the Belle song. I mean, those are the best.
The Belle song's just my fave.
Oh, it's so good. So the guy the lyricist, who I think is kind of the strength of, that team, I would say, died 8 months before the release of this movie.
Oh my God.
So sad. So when they won for Beauty and the Beast, the song, his partner his partner from his whole life came up to accept the award for him. So R.I.P. Howard Ashman. I know, he was brilliant. I mean, those between the Little Mermaid and these lyrics of these songs, oh my God, they're like, it's like poetry.
Yeah.
So yeah, so great.
So we've also some star power in this one, at least a couple. I'd say probably two people, probably big names. We got Angela Lansbury as Mrs. Potts. Where's Mr. Potts? That's my number one question. I mean, why does she have so many children? I don't know. Mrs.
Why is
Potts,
she also
Angela,
a grandmother?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why does she have 20 teacup children and she's like 80 years old?
Those should be her
Mr.
grandkids.
Potts?
That's like, I don't understand why he calls her mom when he should be like grandma, because clearly she's 80 and like he is 4.
Where did they come from? It's so weird. Know. Maybe they're the children of all the people that like the Beast ate or something. Just kidding. So her, and then we've got your favorite, Jerry Orbach as Lumiere, who I didn't realize that until you said that. I'm sure you've told me that another time, and I just totally forgot about it. But wow,
yeah. So that
is
guy,
crazy.
I don't know like the details, but I remember him being of like he was a Broadway guy. Like he was a theater dude. And like, we all know him as Baby's father, Dr. Houseman from Dirty Dancing, but also Lenny, what is his name? Bryce? No.
Lenny Bruce. Just
something.
Lenny
in
Lenny, I don't know.
Law and Order. So, Law and Order, the original one had just seasons and seasons of different detectives, but he was the original one. And then he died over, I think like at this point, like 15 or 20 years ago. But man, that guy's talented.
I didn't know he died. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He died like quite a long time ago. So I agree, those two. Other than that, it seems like, Disney always uses it's animation, right? So they like tend to lean on people who actually have talent versus like they need some star power names. And they do that basically for all the other characters, right? Because like I don't remember hearing about any of them.
They did that in the 90s, I would say. And then I think they moved away from that, obviously. In today's time, they got to have that star power because they've realized that you can capitalize on both.
Right.
So, yeah, it's interesting. Interesting stuff. All right, so any other tidbits?
Did you know that they tried to make this two other times, so in the 1930s and in the 50s, and they just like couldn't get it off the ground. They just couldn't find like a good way to do it, or they didn't like the animation or whatever. So it was, they kind of just kept putting it on the shelf because they just like couldn't get it to work. And like I don't know what that really means in animation, but then once the success of The Little Mermaid, I think they saw the success of that and like also saw like how they could do these really successfully and like what they needed to do to make them really successful. And I think kind of use that same system to then make this one. So good for them. I think it worked.
Sense. Totally worked.
Yeah. And it won a Golden Globe. Sorry. So you know how the Golden Globes are broken up with like comedy, musical, and drama. This one, the comedy musical one.
Did it always?
Which was like a first.
Like that? I thought they only did that recently.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know too much about the Golden Globes.
But good for them. They did good. All right. So, what do you think?
You ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
Yep. You ready for this? Are you ready for this? Okay. It's time for the sweetie synopsis. Yeah.
Sweeties.
I use antlers in all of my decorating.
What do they say? I love a guy like Gaston. Or
I don't know. I know pieces of those lyrics, but not the whole thing.
Yeah.
I bobbled them.
Yeah. Belle, no last name, is a French lass living allegedly in France.
Don't you want to start with the prequel?
Oh. All right, fine. Once upon a time, this like mean old prince lived in a castle by himself or whatever with his servants.
Mean young prince.
And a prince. Wait, is that what I said? What did I say?
Mean old prince.
Yeah. Like he was just
mean
not
young.
that he's
he wasn't very old.
Just like no, but and I don't mean it as in like whatever. So one night, this like old beggar lady comes up to the door. I don't know why he's answering his own door in his castle, but so be it.
Who's there?
Who opens the door? She's like, "Please, sir, I'm cold. I need shelter. You can have this rose." And he's like, "Get away from me, you beast, you ugly thing." Okay, honest question. Would you have turned away this old lady if it was like middle of the night, you're living alone, she looks creepy as fuck, like would you turn her away? Yes or no? Be honest.
Yeah, but I also don't have a castle.
Even in like your house, like your apartment.
Yes.
This happened today.
Dude, I don't answer my doorbell after 10 p.m.
We would 100% turn this bitch away. And this lady is like, okay, listen, it's not always what it seems. Turns into this beautiful enchantress and casts a spell on the prince and condemns him to live as an ugly, snarling beast until he is the old age. And if he does not find true love by the time he hits the ripe old age of 21 years old, he will stay a beast forever. Because if you're not married by the time you're 21, you are now a beast. I couldn't believe it. I had no idea that he only had until he was 21 years old to find love.
Fun fact, because this was brought up in the trivia, and in Be Our Guest, they say 10 years we've been rusting, needing so much more than dusting. So people were like, wait a minute. They've been rusting for 10 years. And exactly. And like, you're like, wait a minute. So they took that line out of the song, and they were supposed to have done it in the re-release to the beginning, like prologue thing too. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I have a feeling he's like, let's say he's in his early 30s. I don't think he's 21. I mean, they always make these people so young, and I'm so unclear why.
21. I think he was supposed to be 21. The song, they weren't thinking on that. They were just finding things that like sounded good in the song and like not thinking about the logical nature behind it. But whatever. So so he's a beast. Sad. Unless he finds true love, he's a beast forever. So that's what sets our story. Now back to Belle, no last name, who resides in this little French town again, allegedly. Only like 2 people have French accents in this town. The rest are like British. I think I heard a Long Island accent and those like tavern horse. It's strange. Belle, no French accent. Gaston, nothing. Couple, mostly British. I find in these Disney movies that are set in other countries, it's just all British people. So
Belle sounded very Judy Garland-esque to me.
She did.
She had a very Judy Garland voice to her.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that they modeled her blue pinafore like after that as well. And I was like, whoa. And I read that they were going to use the same actress, Jodie whoever who did the...
You were just going to say Jodie. You were going to say... Oh, I thought you were going to say Jodie Sawyer.
And no, I was going to say Jodie Sweetin. But
I wish.
No, the woman who voiced the Ariel in Little Mermaid. They were going to use her again. Judy Benson, yeah. Mm-hmm. And they found like her voice wasn't like worldly enough or something because they needed her to be sort of like from France. And I was like, what?
That doesn't make sense.
No, Belle sounds like worldly.
That's a false. Fake IMDb trivia strikes again. That's what I think. Anyways, so Belle is an odd person, so they say, in the town. She reads books. She walks at the same time she's reading a book, which I find is pretty dangerous. I don't know if you've ever tried to do that with like a Kindle or something. It's not a great idea. I remember I went in 5th grade. There was a girl who did that walking. We'd have to walk in lines everywhere. And there would be this girl in the grade below whose nose was like literally in a book walking from class to class or like place to place. And I was like, wow, people really do that. But she lives with her father, who's an old inventor named Maurice. The mom, I'm assuming, passed away at some point. I don't think they talk about like when or any details really whatsoever on that family. She could have left.
Literally, does any Disney character have a mom? No. We've already gone over this, but and why we think they do this, but no Disney character, main like a woman one, has a mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably. I mean, we could probably think of. I mean, now I'm like thinking of a bunch, but that's besides the point. Hold on, my screen just blacked out, and now I don't know what's happening. Can you still hear me?
Sorry, I ruined your flow. Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay.
Hello?
I want to make sure I'm still recording. Go, you take it.
Oh my God. Okay. So they think she's like super weird. And she goes like into town to return her book to this like one bookseller. And she runs into Gaston, who is like the hot guy in the village, but he's also really vain and she doesn't like him at all. So he is like, Belle, like, yeah. He's basically a sexual predator, let's be honest. He is like, we're going to get married someday. And she's like, sure, buddy. And just basically like laughs it off. So she goes home and her dad is there and her dad's an inventor. So he has invented basically like an automated wood chopper. So it's like, this is like, I don't know, mid 1800s now. And basically it's like a stove that you like heat up and then it makes like the steam from the fire from the stove makes like the axe go. I don't know inventions, but whatever. It freaking works. Yeah. They figure it out. He's kind of eccentric and none of his shit works. But it does. And Belle's like, oh my God, like you got to go to like the big town or whatever and sell this or some market or some show or something that inventors go to.
A fair.
Right? And yeah, like a fair, like a World's Fair. And he goes on his way, but Maurice, he's like not great with directions. And he gets, and this is 1865. So, there's no GPS. There's a horse and named Philippe, who's pretty cool, but he doesn't know where he's going either. So they end up stumbling upon this like giant Oh no, sorry. They get lost, and then like wolves are chasing him. It's a very like wolf heavy area because
France
they're
has a wolf
everywhere. Like as
problem.
soon as you get out in the woods, yeah, they do. Like there are wolves everywhere, and they are like killer wolves. So they chase him and chase Philippe into, and they get kind of sanctuary in what ends up being this large, what looks like abandoned castle.
Well, Philippe runs away.
So they go in.
Philippe
and
gets away,
and Philippe runs away. Sorry, he goes back home. Yeah. So Maurice goes into the castle and he's like, hello, anybody here? You know, it's all abandoned. It looks like, you know, it's very, very dark. And then he hears like little voices, and then he stumbles upon who lives there, but basically like anthropomorphic housewares. So you have like a candlestick, a clock. That's who he meets first, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're like, and they are, oh, like we need to take care of you, blah, blah, blah. So he's like really enchanted by these enchanted things. And they take him up to the like sitting area, and they sit him in this chair. And then all of a sudden, like the like wind whooshes in, and this gigantic beast is suddenly there being like, what the fuck are you doing here? Get out of my house. Ah! And like flips out. And then, but then imprisons him, right?
Yes. Way to overreact, beastie. Yeah, so shuts him up in this like what's it called? So it seemed like a dungeon, but it's in a tower. The tower dungeon, is that a thing? I don't know. Dungeons are usually like in the basement area, so it's confusing. Yeah. Logistics, semantics, whatever. So Philippe returns back home. Honestly, I don't blame him. He seemed to not be getting much credit and got blamed for bringing Maurice to the wrong place, even though Philippe wanted to go the safe fork in the road towards the light. And Maurice is like, no, let's go here to this like spooky side. And then they get into trouble with these wolves, and Maurice is like, Philippe, where did you take us? I'm like, the nerve. I couldn't get over it. So, Philippe's back, and Belle's obviously freaked out. She's like, where's Dad? Where's Papa? So she gets on Philippe and like goes looking for her father. Meanwhile, by the way, Gaston has tried to pull off the old surprise wedding, even though she's so far turned down all of his offers. Very strange. Turns him down again. Humiliates him. That's too bad. We'll come back to him later. Belle goes off in search for her father, finds this creepy castle, is like, oh, he must be in this creepy castle, goes inside, immediately knows where to go, even though there's at least, I don't know, 8 different wings she could have possibly like gone down, but she's like, he must be in this highest tower in this dungeon place upstairs. So she goes up there, and the candlestick and the clock are like very excited. They don't see a lot of women. They don't get a lot of action. So she finds her dad, and he's like, Belle, you have to get out of here. And then who should come upon them but the beast? Dude is, I mean, obviously he's everywhere. It's a castle. It's probably echoey. He heard her the minute she came in.
He doesn't have anything else to do.
Yeah, he's traipsing around the West Wing. So... you know, it'd be a funny parody if he was like, don't go in the West Wing, and then like Belle like creeps in, and it's like an animated version of the West Wing, the TV show, and she's like,
that would be funny.
Now I get it. So Belle makes a deal to trade her father for her, and the beast is like, you'll be my prisoner, and he's like excited, and she's like, yes, whatever.
The dude wants just wants some friends. He's
so
like
he locks
just
them
imprisoning
up?
people, so he has someone else to freaking talk to. Yeah, that's the only way he knows how. I mean, he's messed up. That guy. He has a lot of trauma.
Trauma because he got turned into a beast for being a dick. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
wouldn't
like,
you?
Yeah, but I mean, like, make the best out of it. The teacups made the best out of it, and they stay in a cupboard all day. Like, come on. And what about those poor suckers who don't have faces? What about them? Who are those people? Is every fork a person, or are those different? That's my main question. Anyways, so I was going to call them appliances, but that's not the right word. What can we call them? What's the name for them all as a group? The wares?
For what?
The housewares.
The housewares?
The housewares are, like I said, excited because they think this is the opportunity. They've been waiting 10 long years for somebody to come along that the beast can fall in love with. So they're trying to help him, like, you should like be nice to her, like, oh, like maybe we should give her like an actual bedroom and not keep her locked up in this tower. And he's like, oh, okay, fine. So he like gives her this nice room. She just throws herself down on the bed and cries, as you would. Who just says somebody who just like gave their life away to this beast person. Yeah. So that's that. Maurice flees back to the town to try to get someone to help. Meanwhile, Belle meets the housewares. She thinks they're charming. She's charmed. Most people are. Maurice was also very charmed. Yeah. It's a good time. You got this like giant talking dresser who just has dresses. I don't know whose dresses those were or like where they came from, but they just happened to all fit Belle. And we got Mrs. Potts, who is the like head maid, I guess, who's a big like teapot.
Yeah, I guess. Right, because they all have like kind of jobs. Yeah. So Lumiere is like,
he's like the head
butler, or is that Cogsworth?
I thought that was Cogsworth, but maybe it's like I'm trying to think of like Downton Abbey people, and I'm like, wait, who was?
Yeah,
what's that one that's like the footman, or is that something? I don't know.
Yeah, because maybe there's one that like runs the house, but there's the one that like helps dress them and everything.
Right.
So maybe
I
thought
that was Lumiere maybe. And then Cogsworth like knew everything.
Because he seems to be like the most buddies with him, with Lumiere.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like they're kind of like friendly on. I mean, we're not really like buddies with the people who are your servants, but like on as close as that could be, right?
Oh, the beast, you mean? Yeah.
So sorry. So then he invites her to dinner and she refuses to come down. So he gets wicked pissed off and he's like, "You're not coming out of that room," like blah blah blah. So he like stalks away to like the West Wing or whatever, and then she finally creeps downstairs and meets like all the little housewares, and then they perform this amazing song called Be Our Guest, where they are just like so excited to entertain somebody, because not only is it like bringing life into this house, but there's this chance that she will fall in love with the beast and then the spell will be broken, right? So they're just like greasing the wheels here and trying to make her feel, as much as home as possible, because if she falls in love with the beast, everybody wins, right?
Everybody wins.
So the beast ends up finding out. Oh, no. So she goes on a tour with them after the Be Our Guest, and she's like, "Oh, what's in the West Wing? Like, I want to see it." And they're like, "No, you can't go up there." So she's like, "Oh, do you like? We have a library. Come see the library." So then the little housewares get distracted, and they like go to the library, and she creeps into the West Wing. And she sees basically what is, she's really brave. So it's basically the beast's bedroom, or who was the prince. And it's just all, he obviously goes into like crazy rages all the time and just like claws like all of his shit. So she sees a picture, so his portrait of when he was this pretty hot prince, ripped to shreds, and then sees it's like this open balcony and then a table, and then on the table there's a rose under like a bell jar. Mm-hmm. And the rose is all like illuminated and lit up, clearly a magic rose, and all these petals are falling down. So she's like, "Ooh, what's that?" And like takes off the bell jar and it's getting ready to touch it, and who comes again, just like rolling in like in all a rage. I don't know where he was, going to the beast bathroom, like, hello.
I don't think that's his bed. I think that was his bedroom when he was a person, but he must like sleep somewhere else now that he's the beast. So he put all his like old shit in there to like as a reminder, or like to stay away from. I don't know. I didn't get the sense that he frequented it. But yeah, he freaks. I think he
gets fucking pissed though
about this rose.
Oh, totally. And this part is really scary. And when I saw this part, I was like, ugh, because I always think of these movies now. I'm like, is this like the right movie to show our niece Ava? Like, would she like this? Would she be scared? Because you never know with little kids, like what's gonna like really scare them, especially when they're like 3 or 4. And as the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm like, yeah, this would be fine. This would be fine. And then this scene happened. I was like, ugh, I don't know. This is like kind of scary. Because he flings her around. As Sweetie said, like now that seems like a little bit over the top. Like did he really have to like
enchant
physically
a rose
hurt her?
And then make it so that if somebody accidentally touched it, it would be broken forever. Like I think she worked that out, buddy. But yeah, he freaks out. She runs off into the night in her little cloak. gets on Philippe, who's still there, goes off into the woods. Who should be there but those fucking wolves? Back again. So they surround her and Philippe, and it gets pretty scary. And then the wolves are surrounded, and then like are about to jump on Belle, and the beast comes and saves her and like fights them off. He gets like bitten pretty badly and is like pretty beat up, collapses in the snow. This, I think, is the most yeah, I don't know.
I thought it was only on his arm, and then he like passes
he's a big
out.
baby is what it comes down to.
I only saw bite marks
He's a baby
on his
who overreacts. Anyways, he passes out in the
I'm just
snow,
saying,
and then
wuss.
somehow Belle, like superhuman strengths, lifts him up onto Philippe and then carts him back to the castle. There's two places in this movie where she lifts the beast up. One is like she pulls him over the ledge on the roof, and then the other is this part. And I'm like, who is this bitch? Is she like Wonder Woman secretly? Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. She's awesome. So she gets him back and then tends to his wounds.
She's badass.
They bond over the fact that like it stings his cuts when she cleans them, and then they like yell at each other for a little bit. And Belle's not taking shit. He's like, "You were being annoying," and she's like, "That is rude." And she's like, "I was helping you. I was trying to help you," or something. So magically, they are now in love. I don't know how it happened. It happened over, again, tending to these wounds. One day, suddenly, ta-da, here they are in love, day one. So it's literally, it's not even been a day. So let me just remind everybody about that. Yeah,
I know. The next day, Beast is like, I've never felt
now
this
they're
way
in love.
about anybody. Like, what?
Yeah. So
I was
now
like,
there's
you
like this
hated her,
montage
like 12
of
hours
them
ago.
doing like cute things. So she's warming up to him. He takes her to the library, which is like a crazy library. Have you ever seen a library?
Okay, what the fuck was with that library? They made it a little too big, in my opinion. What the hell? You cannot have shelves all the way up to the ceiling.
I was like, what are these all encyclopedias? Is this like Encyclopedia Britannica? Like, are these all reference materials or are they real books?
You know how there's usually those ladders that like slide?
The ladder didn't go that far.
Right?
I looked. I checked.
Yeah, it doesn't go that far. And what the hell? What an unrealistic library. It was really upsetting to me. I'm like, how could you do this to her? How could you put books way up there? She couldn't get them. Probably the book she wants to read, too. It's probably the shitty books on the bottom.
Probably that one
she's
read
already
1,000 times. So they do that. They have like a snowball fight. They have this like romantic evening where Belle gets to wear this like gorgeous yellow dress and the Beast gets all dressed up. It's very nice. Meanwhile, Maurice has tried to convince the town people that the Beast has Belle locked up in a tower. Unfortunately, the town is run by Gaston, apparently, who night after night just sits in the tavern and sings about himself and sits in like a big chair. As far as I can tell, that's all he does. So the townspeople love him. Maurice comes in. They all think he's crazy because he does all these inventions that don't work. They're like, "Okay, old man, see ya," and they throw him out in the snow. Gaston, however, little conniving dick face that he is like, "Here's a good idea. We'll pretend her father is crazy and then give Belle an ultimatum that she has to marry me or I'm going to throw her dad in the mental hospital." Like, what the fuck? Gaston.
How romantic.
What an ass. I can't even handle him. He's like so terrifying to me. His neck is like the size of a tree and it's... I don't love it. I don't love it. And at the end, when his hair is like loose and wet,
stop. That's what I was gonna bring up. Oh my god,
it makes me feel sick. Like I feel sick.
I was closing my eyes. I was like, no, long. And everyone has long. All the men have long hair in this movie, and it's like all kept back in nice little ponytails, unless like there's a fight or something like that, which is what happens in that scene. Oh, gross.
It's so gross. So that's the plan. So Belle is happy with the Beast. Again, let me remind everyone, I think it's only been a full day because they were having a snowball fight the next morning and then, library, snowball fight, library, romantic dinner. So it's,
dancing.
Again, maybe 2 nights max they've known each other. And Belle's like, "Oh, I'm so happy, but I really miss my dad. I wish I could just see him for a little bit." And so as luck would have it, the Beast has this cool little mirror that he uses to invade Belle's privacy and spy on her sometimes. And it's enchanted, as everything is, and it lets her just see. It lets you see whatever you want. So Belle's like, I want to see my father. So poor Maurice has tried to go save Belle on his own and has collapsed in the snow. And Belle's freaking out. She's like, I have to go to him. He could be sick or dying. And the beast, he's really changed in a day. I'll give it to him. I don't know how he did it, but he's really turned it around. And now he's like a nice, caring person. And so he lets Belle go. He knows that he's running out of time and they have to fall in love, but he lets her go back to her father. Real nice. Real fucking nice. So what happens? Does she go back to him? Does she find her Maurice?
Yeah. So she finds him and she kind of, takes him back to nurse him back to health. And then unfortunately, LeFou, the little sidekick of Gaston, was kind of hanging out, waiting for them to come back, because that's where Gaston said to wait. And so he was like dressed, he was like in a snow pile, and then he made a snowman out of it. And so he's like hidden. So anyway, so they come back in, and then that's his like cue to go tell Gaston that they're home. So he gets the guy who runs the mental hospital, who basically looks like a zombie. I don't know what was wrong with that guy. He is ill to the 10th degree. Talk about coronavirus.
What's that guy's name from Little Mermaid? the guy, his like old companion.
Oh yeah, but
companion.
His skin was green and he looked dead. So he runs the mental hospital, whatever, and he rolls up with this wagon and knocks on the door. And is like, "Hey, we're taking your dad to the mental hospital," and she's like flipping out because when Belle was kidnapped for the first time by the beast, or held captive, Maurice comes back into the tavern and tells everyone about the beast, and they don't believe him. Even though this castle doesn't seem that far away, and I'm like confused why the whole villagers like wouldn't walk by it. Yeah, it just wouldn't they wonder? Wasn't this like some sort of like rumor or something? But I don't know. It was like, I think it was all enchanted, so maybe like the people couldn't see it, or I don't even know. So they were convinced he was crazy, and they think he's crazy anyway because he's this sort of eccentric inventor, right? So so it's not like a huge leap that they're going to like take him away to this mental hospital. But Belle's like, no, don't do this. He's not crazy. And she runs and like, huge mistake, gets the mirror and shows the people, the crazy people of the town who are really crazy, like what the beast looks like. And they're like, oh my God, fuck, there's a beast up there. We gotta kill him. So now all the attention is away from crazy Maurice, and now like we have to get the beast. So, and then, so this whole scheme was that, they were going to lock up Maurice, but they won't lock him up unless Belle marries Gaston. So that was like part of that too. That's why she brings out the mirror, because she's like, fuck no, I'm not marrying this guy.
Yeah, see,
here's
he's not
proof
crazy.
about the beast.
Yeah.
But so they lock up Belle and her dad in the basement, and they go Mob Squad style to the castle with pitchforks, flaming bales of hay, like Frankenstein bullshit. That kind of stuff. Yeah. And it's terrifying. So there's this long song called "Kill the Beast," really scary. And Belle and her dad are stuck in the basement and they can't get out. Luckily, Chip, sweet little cup with a chip, smuggled away into Belle's little knapsack and is like there with her and is outside and is able to go get the machine that he had that was like the chop the wood. Yeah. I don't know. So he's able to do it, like, and knock down the door, so they're like able to get out of there. So the villagers come upon the castle with "Kill the beast, kill the beast, kill the beast," and all the like little housewares inside are freaking out. At this point, the beast is basically just like thrown in the towel. He's like, I don't fucking care.
So sad.
Belle is gone. We're never get. Yeah, it's very sad. It's like almost like it looked like a dog who's just like given up and is ready to die. I mean, he just like did not care. It was like in Homeward Bound when Shadow falls in the hole and he's like, I don't care. And Chance is like, come on, man, come on. It was like just like that. So, yeah. So then they break down the door, with like a big, what is that called? Tree trunk style. And they go in there and the housewares are all like frozen as they normally would, being like inanimate objects. And then there's this whole big battle between, they come to life and then they're like attacking all the villagers. And that part's really fun because they clearly win because the villagers are like idiots. And they do all their like funny little things to like combat them. which is really cute. But Gaston goes, leave the beast for me. So he goes, runs, try to find the beast. As we said, the beast has given up, thrown in the towel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was in that room, so maybe it is his bedroom. I don't know. But, the Gaston tries to shoot him with an arrow, and the beast is like, do whatever. And then Gaston, says some mean things to him or whatever. It's like, did you fall in love with her? Blah, like really eggs him on. So the beast like freaks out, and then they get into this fight. And then the beast is about to throw him.
He sees Belle. No. He's like totally not. No, he doesn't like care about anything until he sees Belle, and she's like, no!
He's still given up, and then is almost gonna be dead probably, and then sees Belle, and like it instills like courage and happiness in him again, and he has strength now to fight Gaston, and so practically kills Gaston and like dangles him over the side of the castle, and Gaston, as all stupid villains do, are like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'll do whatever you want, just let me live, and then brings him back on. Belle climbs down and again, like I said, pulls the beast up. Meanwhile, Gaston is back with a knife and stabs the beast in the back. Very rude. And then, Gaston loses his footing and falls off and falls to his death into the abyss. So, I'm not sad about it. He's probably one of the worst villains in a Disney movie, I would say. He's just like pure. It's like toxic masculinity times like 1,000 is Gaston. So I just he's not a good person. So Belle is upset, obviously. Yeah, the beast is dying. He's like, oh, at least I got to see you again. And she's like, don't talk like that, you'll be okay. And he's like, I'm dying. And then she cries and is like, don't leave me. And then she's like, I love you. Again, they've only loved each other, quote unquote loved, for a night, but whatever. It's enough to break the spell.
It was traumatic circumstances.
As it is.
You know how that goes when you
fireworks.
Love in the time of trauma.
We've all seen Speed.
Yes.
Yeah. So fireworks go off. The beast floats up into the sky. All the housewares turn back into real people. Their real human versions are totally underwhelming people. It's like they spent zero time on figuring out what they would turn into. It's funny. And then the beast finally turns into a human, and he looks like Thackeray Binks from Hocus Pocus, and he's wearing that same white peasant shirt, and his hair is long. He's not my favorite. He's not my favorite prince. Like I've said many times on this podcast, I am not into long hair. Probably because of this movie. I think it really upset me, and I think I find the beast more attractive as a beast. So,
Agreed.
I don't know what that says about me, but they live happily ever after, and then there's this big party or whatever at the end. Belle again wears the yellow dress, and the beast wears his same.
Okay, that upset me, and also I forgot about that. I was like, oh sweet, they're gonna turn around, and she's gonna be in maybe a white version of her dress or whatever, thinking it was gonna be a wedding. I'm like, why are you wearing that dress again?
Too soon, sweetie. They can't get married after only knowing each other for 3 days.
Come on, this relationship is on fast forward. It's fine. But yep. So
that's
Tale as
it.
Old as Time,
Happily
Song as
Ever
Old as Rhyme,
After.
Beauty and the Beast. Moral of the story: can't judge a book by its cover, because she never knew the story. She fell in love with him as the Beast. She did not. Oh no, or did she know anything?
No,
wait. Did
she
she know anything?
I don't think she even knew he
But
was.
she
a person.
saw that portrait. Yeah, but she saw
But she
that
didn't know who that
portrait of him
was.
all ripped up. Okay, yeah. So I think
She
the
was
moral
like-
being
I don't think Belle was like, oh, this ripped portrait must mean that an old enchantress to bewitched him into a beast
Okay.
because he couldn't find.
I mean,
true
she's smart,
love.
but she's
This
not that
floating
smart.
rose is proof.
But she loved him just as who he was as the Beast, right?
Yes.
And then
Which is strange because he was not a very likable person.
no, he wasn't. But
He
he
was,
did.
I would say,
end
he's-
up being likable.
Yeah.
There's something sweet and almost kind. He was mean and he was coarse and unrefined. But now I'm so unsure. I don't know why I never seen it there before.
Because you only known him for a day.
Yeah. But yeah. So presumingly, did they make it, sweetie? Did they make it?
I hope so. Seems. I mean, I think with the good company of the housewares now turned into real people, I think that she loves her life. She probably really, I mean, I think she's marrying the beast for his library. I'll be honest. I think that's like the real appeal she sees there. But maybe the true love will come later. I don't know. Best part, bonus, I think, is that I am assuming that Maurice and Mrs. Potts fall in love. But, I mean, what do I know? So, yeah.
Yeah,
sweet,
because they're right about the same ages, right?
Yes, which again is strange. Although, I mean, Belle is his daughter, and he's kind of old, but I don't know. Something's weird.
That's
And
weird.
what
Something's weird
about
that? So-
and like
the
what about all
water
the
there.
other children? Like she doesn't give them any attention. She only cares about Chip. So really, my heart
Chip's
goes
a little
out to the other
baby.
teacups.
Yeah.
Well, it's just strange. But yeah, that's the flick. Super cute, guys. Super cute. So should we sing the songs or?
Yeah, let's start off with the songs. That's always the easiest way to kind of get this going. Okay, so there's, kind of like I think with Little Mermaid and Aladdin too, there's a lot less songs than I thought in this movie. Once you start writing them down, you're like, wow, there's only like 6 songs in here.
Yeah.
Which is like nice because, you don't want a musical with too many songs because then it gets like just too musically,
Well, then it's like a
so it's
musical.
nice these but then it's like these like almost half musicals where it's like there's songs and they're fun, but there's not like every scene needs a song,
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. So it starts with the song Belle. Ready? I know you want to do the reprise, so I'll do this one.
Okay.
Do you want to do the extra characters?
Sure.
Little town, it's a quiet village, every day like the one before. Little town, full of little people, waking up to say, bonjour. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
There goes the
Bonjour.
baker with his tray like always. The same old bread and rolls to sell. Every morning just the same since the morning that we came to this poor provincial town. Good morning, monsieur.
Belle.
Where are you off to? The bookshop? So my favorite part
Where
of
you
that
off
one
to?
is, like I said, all like the little side things. And I remember like our dad loved the Marie, the baguettes, hurry up. Like all the little side
Hurry up.
things. Yeah. And
like
like,
one French thing.
yeah.
He's
And
from
like
Brooklyn,
there's all
but
these little
the baguettes
sidebars
are
of them talking about her, right? Like basically just all this like hot goss about like her and how she's weird and whatever. Her nose is always in a book, but she's so pretty. Like, why is she weird? Just such a great song, such a good ensemble, and I love when it like builds really big.
Yeah.
And then it's all the village like singing, and they're all singing behind her, and then it stops and she turns around and like they're all quiet. Good one.
My favorite part about that is that she like goes home to her dad and she's like, Papa, do you think I'm odd? And he's like, now where would you get an idea like that, Belle? And she's like, the whole fucking town was just singing a song about me. So I think I got the message pretty clear, Dad. But yeah, good song. My other favorite part. So have we checked on the lady with all the babies who needs the eggs? Like, I'm concerned about her. Somebody check on her, please.
That's too expensive.
I don't know. I wish I remembered what I thought that line was.
Yeah, I remember.
I didn't realize she needed eggs until much later in life.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If you really like dissect these songs, they're like I said, the lyrics are so funny and they're really good, but sometimes you can't understand them because of the song and like, it's, but if you like really go back and listen, you're like, oh, that's like so great. But yeah, I love that part. And it's funny, like the CD obviously like had all the dialogue in it too. So that's like when you memorize the song, like all the little dialogue in it too. Like when she's at the bookshop.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. We know that part, obviously, word for word. But my other favorite part is that, did you know that the 3 girls who are obsessed with Gaston, their names are the Bimbettes, is what they're called in the credits, which is like, like bimbos, but like Bimbettes is what I think. But I find that part so funny when they're like all of a sudden they turn into this like Long Island medium like accent, and they're like, he's such a tall, dark, strong, and handsome prince.
I know.
Like, where did that accent
The direction was for that.
What
It's so funny.
happening? It's good though. Okay, so then after that song, again, Gaston accosts her and is like, "Why won't you marry me?" And she's like, "Oh, go away." No means no, Gaston. And then he, forces his way into her house. Is very forward and it's very uncomfortable. Trying to get her to marry him. And I'm like, but God, she doesn't want to marry you. Like, get over it. Go out with those 3 bets. You get 3 for the price of 1.
They basically look exactly like her, but they're blonde. It's like the same animation.
It's fine. Yeah. And they'll pull it out. Like, just go with them. So then he leaves. She throws him out into the mud or whatever, and he's sad. So the next one is our favorite, a reprise. So this is Belle reprise. Is he gone? Can you imagine? He asked me to marry him. Me, the wife of that boorish, brainless Madame Gaston. Can't you just see it? Madame Gaston, his little wife. No, sir, not me. I guarantee it. I want much more than this provincial life. Yeah. It's one of my favorite. It might be my favorite somewhere. I think it's a tie for favorite reprise. This and Little Mermaid. Yeah. I think that's it. These are just both so fantastic, and I love them. And that's all I have to say about that. Next song, okay, sweetie, take it.
Next song is Gaston. So they're in the pub or in the tavern, and basically his little sidekick is trying to make him feel better because he's all bummed that his plan of doing like a surprise wedding for Belle, and she just like makes a fool of him, like, because she like opens the door and he like falls into the mud, I believe. And so he's like trying to cheer him up. So it's a song about how great he is, and it starts, "Gosh, it disturbs me to see you, Gaston, looking so down in the dumps. Every guy here loved to be you, Gaston, even when taking your lumps." Is it lumps? Thumps?
Yeah,
thumps.
Like he punches them?
Thumps. Even when taking your thumps.
Yeah.
There's no man in town as admired as you. You're everyone's favorite guy. Everyone's awed and inspired by you. And it's not very hard to see why. No one.
That's like
Gaston. Gaston. Blah, blah. So it keeps going and going. It's like I don't remember like all the specifics of those lyrics, but like I said, in the beginning, my favorite is the part where he's like, "I use antlers in all of my decorating," or the part where he's like, where does he goes? "When I was a lad, I ate 5 dozen eggs. Da 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 da.
Four.
Now I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen eggs, and now I'm as big as a barge." It's really good. It's a really good song.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
So there's kind of a reprise, but I guess it's just a continuation of the Gaston song, but they like change it a little bit now that they have the plan. So then we've got "Be Our Guest," which is a big showstopper number. We've got Lumiere, who is the only French-speaking apparently member in this village. Cogsworth is straight up British. Mrs. Potts is Angela Lansbury British in real life? I was trying to remember that today because I've been watching Murder, She Wrote, if you may or may not know that. And I was like, wait,
yes.
Does she have that accent in that too?
Yeah. So she's British,
or is that
this is Scottish or something in this Irish? Yeah.
It's definitely. So
not,
I guess these people come from all over. That's fine. So Lumiere does the introduction. I don't know French, so I'm not going to say the words. But
Mon cher mademoiselle, it is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you tonight. Let you relax. Let us pull up the chairs. The dining room proudly presents your dinner.
Be our guest. Be our guest. Put our service to the test. Grab the dishes.
Tie your napkin round your neck, Cherie, and we'll provide the rest. Soup du jour, hot hors d'oeuvres, while we only live to serve. Try the gray stuff. It's delicious. Don't believe me? Ask the dishes.
Ask the dishes. Why are the dishes eating the gray stuff? They don't even have mouths.
No.
Also, I'm a little dubious about the gray stuff. What is the gray stuff?
Pate.
Interesting.
You love pate.
Okay. I do, but I wouldn't describe it as. I wouldn't describe anything I want to eat as gray colored.
They can sing, they can dance. After all, miss, this is France. And the dinner here is never second best. Go on and unfold your menu. Take a glance and then you'll be our guest. Be our guest. Beef ragout, cheese soufflé.
So then they just say a bunch of like French names. I mean, ragout is Italian, I guess, but for the most part, they seem to just like stick in every like French word for food, like hot d'oeuvres, cheese soufflé. Like, what are all the French foods we know? But it's a super cute song, and I love the visuals. They do this whole like the silverware like dives off like synchronized swimming, kind of like that. Is that synchronized swimming or like Esther Williams kind of like water
Busby
ballet
Berkeley.
kind of stuff? Yeah. So it's a great little number. It's a great number. I love it.
I like when it like revs up and it's like da 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 da. It's like a kick line. It's like course by course, one by one, till you shout. Enough, I'm done, and we'll sing you off to sleep as you digest.
Good stuff. Yeah, it's a good one.
Really adorable.
Really fun. So you go the next
one.
one.
The classic Beauty and the Beast. So this is the one that won all the big awards. And as Sweetie said,
no.
Oh,
You missed.
no.
No. Something there.
I don't know that one or like that one.
Falling in love in the snow. There's something sweet and almost kind, but he was mean and he was coarse and unrefined, and now he's dear and so unsure. I wonder why I didn't see it there before. And then this is the only time the Beast sings is in that song. So it's weird. I think he's a weird singing voice. I don't love it. It's like you said, it's a little too Broadway-y. But he gives it a shot. So then Sweetie is
so Tale as Old as Time. So this is I read that Angel and Lansbury did not want to do this, but they were like, okay, we'll just record a version just so like we have one in case we need to use it or something like that. So I don't know if they like tricked her or what, but that's the one they ended up using. And
rude. Why didn't you want to do it?
Her voice is like okay. It's not like Julie Andrews by any means. Yeah, I know, but it's but it's really sweet, and like it's just supposed to be like a sweet song. So it's their sort of like slow dance during their kind of very romantic date night. So it goes. Do I even know the lyrics of the song? Till as old as time, true as it can be, barely even friends. Then somebody bends unexpectedly. We're singing like not together.
Yeah, I know. It's fucked up.
It's really weird.
So yeah, that's that song. Like I said, I think it's a snooze fest. I just find it boring. The only thing I like about it is obviously getting to see that gorgeous dress. That's all. That's all I know about it. And then the rousing show-stopping number, "Kill the Beast, Kill the Beast." I like the tempo or something about. There's something about this number that I totally forgot. Well, first I forgot that it existed, but I like the lyrics a lot. And it goes. I have to pull it up because I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, it's so fast, and I had trouble doing all the lyrics.
Here we go. Through the mist, through the woods, through the darkness and the shadows, it's a nightmare, but it's one exciting ride. Say a prayer, then we're there at the drawbridge of the castle, and there's something truly terrible inside. Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
I'm like, is this?
Kind of.
These lyrics seem wrong. Okay. yeah, so I like that song, but it's definitely very be prepared a la Lion King. It reminded me of that.
Good one.
For sure. But yeah, that's the last song. And then they just play Tale as Old as Time again at the end, I think. And that's it. That's the songs.
Yeah, that's it. So quick and dirty, but kind of the ones in the beginning I think are the better ones, but excellent and award winning at this point. So pretty sweet. Next
question. Sure. Question. What do you think is the Beast's real name?
Oh, it was in the trivia.
What?
Yeah. Well, it was never revealed in the movie, but then I guess in the musical version, they did. They did reveal it, and it is, drum roll, please, Adam.
What? No, it's not.
Yes, that's what it said.
Didn't even exist back then.
Why wouldn't it be a French name?
Did it exist?
Why wouldn't it be a fancy French name?
It's probably Pierre or Michel or something.
It's not
like
Adam.
Please, Adam is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I just think it's funny that she's like, she calls him, she's like, Beast, don't follow. She like calls him that. I don't know.
I mean, that's going to be her nickname for him probably for the rest of his life. And people are going to be like, why do you call your husband Beast? That's so rude.
I still think she prefers the Beast in his beast form. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
So a couple things.
She's probably like, she probably wants to like role play all the time. Be like, can you put on that Beast costume?
I was really attracted to you as a beast.
Can you just put the Beast costume on, honey? Thanks.
So I love the Lumiere and Cogsworth relationship or dynamic. I think that's always a very fun, like, buddy dynamic in these movies. You have like your more serious sidekick and then this like one who's a little more easygoing, who wants to like be a little more buddy with the straight and narrow guy. But the straight and narrow guy's like, no, we're all business here. That's the same. I mean, like Ren and Stimpy. There's like thousands of other examples of this that now I can't think. Timon and Pumbaa, maybe. It's just one of my favorite things. But their interactions I find hysterical. Like, I think Cogsworth is like the funniest character. I love him. Yeah. I love him so much. My favorite part is when Maurice sneezes on Cogsworth, and then he uses his little clock hands as windshield wipers, and it's like tee 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 tee.
My favorite part is also that part when he like is poking him and doing all this stuff, and then he opens his inside, and he's like, "Sir, please close that immediately."
I like, and then when he's telling the sad old tale of like. Lumiere's like of what happened to them, and then the salt shaker is like pouring like salt on them, and it's like Cogsworth is like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I love.
He's so funny, so good.
He's great. But Lumiere's your favorite, you said?
Yeah, I just like his the way that they animated that candlestick and like what he's able to do with his little candles. So he's like a 3-tiered candlestick, whatever those are called. What is that called? Not a candelabra? No. Yeah. Candelabra, yeah. So he's like, his main thing is the higher one, and then he has these 2 ones that are like his little hands. But those are like constantly going out, or he can like burn people with them, but then he can light them up by blowing on them. I mean, like they just utilize those so well. It's so funny. And his movement is just so great. So I love that. Love that guy. And obviously his accent is so good, and Jerry Orbach does such a good job with the accent.
Went for it. Pulls it off. Nobody else really even tried except the little dust mop.
Yeah. He's not even French.
I know. He did it anyways, guys. It's possible. Yeah. Anything's possible. Sometimes I wish that they did this like in French. I know kids can't read always, but I think like as adults it would have been neat to have like done this in French and then have like English subtitles. I think that would have been cool. So let's see what to talk about next. Okay, so I have a couple memories from when I was little that still really like stick with me today. So the first one is, or maybe it's only one thing, but so when when Belle offers herself up to the Beast, he takes Maurice and like throws him into this weird enchanted, I'm gonna call it a spider coach, and then it crawls away, making weird spider noises, and it freaks me out. Why do they give it those weird?
I don't know.
And it has like 4 legs. I know a spider has 8 legs, but it's just like something. It still gave me the heebie-jeebies a little bit, for sure. Another thing I kind of remembered is that, so obviously, I mean, Gaston turned me off as a child. I mean, I spotted it. I'm glad to say that he was a dick. But the thing that really gets me is his costumes. The white tights he wears when he tries to do the surprise marriage to Belle are like so upsetting. Like I can't. He should not be wearing tights ever. He is too muscular. He can't wear can't wear tights. He can't. I don't know what he's thinking. Doesn't that upset? It's upsetting. It's as upsetting to me as his long wet hair at the end of the
Straggle
movie.
City
These white tights. Like it's just so bad.
Well, I mean that was the style then, to have
He's the
those sort of like tight style pants, whatever those were called.
In white.
I mean, bad look, but that was the style. So my main childhood memory of this is that we were so obsessed with this film that we made a live action musical of it, worked very hard on it, included the neighbor across the street who was like the grandchild of these old people who lived across the street. And basically it was just like a live action lip sync to the CD. But we were very serious about costumes. So of course I made myself Belle. I made Sweetie LeFou, and then the girl next door was Gaston and the Beast. Double cast. So I was very serious about the costume. I found this like yellow dress my mom had for like the Belle part, and then like the little town part, I had some other like blue dress or something for that. And then so we invited our next door neighbor, these elderly next door neighbors, to come. We sat up little chairs for them, and we did like this live action musical of 3 songs in front of them. It was so embarrassing looking back. We weren't embarrassed at all though. Like we were so pumped about it, and I thought it was like
as a
the
child,
best
you're not
thing
embarrassed.
in the world. I cannot believe we did that now. Like it makes me turn bright red just even like thinking about it. I think those people are dead now, so it doesn't matter.
I think also, oh my God, I think you also let me be Mrs.
Oh, okay.
Potts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 2 banging roles right there. But yeah, why did you make me LeFleur, whatever? I think I thought his name was Legoo when I was little. It's true, Legoo. And I've got my sights set on that one.
Because we did.
But do you remember when we did that? We found.
Go ahead.
We found this like yellow dress in mom's closet or something, but it was like it wasn't a fancy dress. It was just like a maxi t-shirt that was yellow, and we were like, jackpot.
Yeah, we were like, it's yellow. It had like wooden buttons, and we were like, yeah, this is like totally the Belle dress.
This is it. This is the one.
I just remember being so proud of
embarrassing.
that. Like we were just so into it, and we used to do this all the time. We wouldn't necessarily like invite people over to come watch it though. That's what like really stuck out.
No,
like it was very private. Like I mean, we'd do it like our parents would be like in the house. We didn't care if they were there, but we didn't like make an audience for it. So it was just like so funny that we did that. Man,
yeah,
obsessed.
It was. It really was. So this yellow dress, as we said, iconic dress, iconic in my life, obviously, because I tried to like recreate this dress several times. So I don't know if you also have this memory, but I feel like whenever we would go to Macy's or Filene's or something, we'd like wander over to the dress section and be like, let's look for the Belle dress. And we'd like look to see if they had like a ball gown, like Belle's in yellow. For my prom, I like made it my mission. I was like, I'm getting a yellow prom dress and I'm gonna be Belle. And so I found a yellow prom dress, and then I even like wore my hair up in like a half kind of pony, not pony, but like a half up, half down. And it was my Belle moment.
And you had gloves too, not yellow ones.
I was gonna say it.
Gloves.
I had gloves my senior year and a tiara, but when I was a junior, it was just a regular necklace and no gloves. Yeah. But man, those were the days, man. Those were the days.
Along the lines of clothing, I want to say like, let's bring back capes capes have like a real starring role in this, and I just don't. I think people just like weren't into coats. You just like wore a cape. The capes are awesome in this. I just feel like we need more capes.
Who needs
a
coat?
I know. I think we just need capes.
Yeah. It's only below 0 and snowing in France, but I don't need a coat.
Who needs the sleeves?
I also liked Belle's other dresses. So she's got that
the
the
green
one, which has that. What's that called when the waist is like pointed?
Yeah.
You know, it kind of goes in like a V shape.
I don't know
what that's called, but it's very pretty. And then this like pink magenta one that has like the fur cape when they have the snowball fight. I liked those. I liked that they gave her other outfits. She only has that blue peasant dress as her like outside off, like her easygoing outfit or whatever. When she like changes out of her ball gown to go find her dad, she puts that on again. But yeah, I thought she was really, really pretty when I was little. And now when I'm watching it, I feel like they made her head just like a little bit too big, or her face a little bit too big, because there's something about her that looks like weirdly out of proportion.
Yeah,
in a different way.
And it depends when they look at her,
the princesses look like that.
Like some of the profile ones, or when she's like moving more, it seems a little bit more like a real person. But the front on ones, and it's obviously that Disney look of her eyes take up like half of her head, so it's just like, whoa, like that's a lot of eye. A lot of eye. But she's pretty. I love her hair. You don't really get to see her hair down, obviously, in the Beast part, but there was,
except at the end, everybody's hair was down because they were so upset.
Oh yeah, and when she was being
like
attacked by
everywhere.
the wolves, her hair was like completely down, and she looked almost like a different character. I was like, wow, because she always has like that twist and like with the ponytail, which like I always tried to like mimic. I was like, I'm gonna do like the Belle twist in the ponytail with a bow. It was a cool look.
Yeah. They love their ribbons.
Okay.
French.
So I have some like just random stuff to bring up. Can you guess? So the Beast, when they animated the Beast, they made him out of 6 different animals. Can you try to guess which ones those animals were?
Okay. A ram?
No.
Like a sheep?
But like
Like a mountain goat?
close, but like not. What else has like horns?
Whatever the one is with the horns.
Well, there's something else that has horns that are the
Mountain
horns.
goat.
No.
It's not a ram? A bull?
Close.
I'm out of horns.
They're like furry.
Yeti.
That's a lot of hair, and they live in the Midwest. Very
Yaks?
endangered. Close. Yeah.
Buffalo.
Buffalo
All
head.
right.
Can you see it now? Can you see it?
The buffalo. So, okay.
Yep.
Buffalo. Check. Let's go with dog. What? Okay. He had several
close,
dog
though.
qualities about him.
Yeah.
Wolf. Okay. Then,
Okay.
okay, that's interesting. Do you think he shared genetic DNA with the wolves in the forest?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Wolf, buffalo, lion.
Yes.
Okay.
And some of this is movement based too, not necessarily like what he looked
Are
like.
they
How
real,
he could,
all
like,
real
move.
animals, or are some mythical?
No,
beings?
real animals.
Okay. Well, I'm out. I'm out
Okay.
of guesses.
Wild
I'm out of animals, really.
boar.
That's what I said that 8
Oh,
times.
you did? Oh.
And you were like, no. Didn't I? Maybe I didn't. Maybe
We'll
I thought
have
it
to
in my
play
head.
it back.
We'll play the tape back.
Gorilla. So I think like the movement was maybe like gorilla or some of the
Yeah, like heavy, top heavy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
and then bear.
Oh, duh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good one.
He seems a little cuddly, I guess, but mostly scary.
Mostly scary. It was scary. Okay. This is a new segment I'm calling the most random fact on IMDb. You know how on IMDb there's all this like really random shit, and sometimes we're like, did someone just write this? But this had like a lot of likes, and I was like,
They did.
I don't know, maybe someone didn't just write it. Okay, so for the Chinese version where they do dubbed voices, Jackie Chan does the dub version for the Beast. Does that seem random?
Interesting. Cute.
Yeah, really cute. Go, Jackie. And then my last question for you is, what is the worst thing? Like, what would you not want to be turned into in the house? What do you think is the worst houseware to become?
So again, I think it's anything that doesn't get a face, I think is pretty bad.
The coat rack? Come on.
I think the coat, I mean, the coat rack at least can like, has like interesting body movement or not, or like it has like arms or whatever. And like, it seems to use those, but like anything that people use to like put food in their mouth, I think would be a bad one. So like the spoons, I think have it pretty bad. Yeah. Chip seems to like getting drunk out of. I don't know what his deal is. But I
can't believe you're not saying the toilet.
I'm gonna go with a spoon.
The toilet. The chamber pot.
Did they show the toilet?
No, but I'm sure someone got turned into one.
Did they show that? Yeah, that's terrible. Oh my God, I just thought of another scarring scene. It's at the end when the mob comes and Lumiere finds that guy like pulling out the feather duster's feathers, and it looks like he's like raping her. It seems like he's raping her.
Awful. Okay, I have a confusion about.
He's like under her skirt.
So remember the part where they're giving her a tour of the castle, and she goes by all these armor guys in armor, and they move and they like turn their head, but they're also like a decoration. So those weren't there before. Like, why did they get turned into those?
They weren't moving before.
So someone got turned into those? Maybe it was the soldiers.
Okay, so this is what I think it is. Here's what I think. I think that not everything in the house was a person. I think that just everything inanimated became animated and brought to life. So, like, the big players of the house got turned into important housewares, and then the spoons are just spoons that came to life. I don't think they have a soul.
Okay.
Even though I'm like, who are all these people at the end that came to this like weird party where they're watching the Beast and Belle dance?
Yeah.
Because it's not like there was a townspeople or whatever, or maybe there were, and they. No, because it's not like Sleeping Beauty where the town is like in the castle. Area,
I just feel like we need more of a prequel. So I mean, I just don't think that little thing with the stained glass does a good enough job. I feel like we need a prequel. I'm just saying.
No, I have so many questions. I do appreciate that. It's really beautiful how they did that, and they illustrated it in the stained glass, and then at the end, Belle's in the stained glass. I really like that. I think that's sweet. Me too. But yeah, sweet flick. Obviously, a lot of memes, a lot of memories.
So good. I mean, not like so. We did Aladdin first because we did that one for my birthday. We did Little Mermaid, and then we did Aladdin. We did that one for my birthday because that is sort of my favorite one. But I do still like this one a lot. Does hold really sweet memories, really great songs. Yeah. The animation is great. I mean, I think, for me, this like really holds up. And I saw the live action one, and I hated it because it was just exactly this movie, like shot for shot, as most of those have been. And I just don't think like the talent was very good. I mean, it just didn't work for me at all.
I didn't even bother.
Yeah, and I saw it in 3D too, so you'd be like, oh, maybe that would make it like slightly cooler. And the one 3D effect was like when it was at the snow scene when they're doing like the snowball fight, like the snow kind of looked like it was falling in front of you. I'm like, we wasted fucking $20 on 3D tickets for this bullshit. Like, sucks.
That is weird.
Such a ripoff.
Super weird.
But yeah, I love this one.
All right. Okay. Well, this is Sweetie and Sweetie coming to you from the quarantine. But, we're hanging in there. I hope you are too. Watch Beauty and the Beast if you want to get cheered up. And then, listen, find us again, talk to us about it. We're on Twitter at The Sweetie Club or on Instagram at Large Marge Sent Us. Thank you, as always, for listening.
Bye.
Bye.